The massive diplomatic station Nexus Prime hung like a crystalline jewel against the infinite darkness of space. Inside its central chamber, thousands of alien species gathered for the most anticipated conference of the decade. Diplomat Sang. Kim stood at the center, his hands trembling slightly as he clutched a holographic data pad. The chamber buzzed with tension. Translucent energy shields shimmered around the seating areas, representing different planetary zones. Creatures of impossible shapes and colors filled the amphitheater, some floating, some seated on gravity platforms, others connected through complex neural interfaces. Sang Kim cleared his throat. The universal translator embedded in his communication device hummed to life, converting his words into thousands of alien languages simultaneously. "Distinguished representatives," he began, "we have discovered something extraordinary." The holographic display behind him flickered, revealing a series of complex genetic sequences. Alien scientists leaned forward, their multiple eyes or sensory appendages focusing intently. Some species had tentacles that twisted with curiosity, while others communicated through subtle color changes. A massive Croxian diplomat, a reptilian creature standing nearly 3 meters tall, rumbled with impatience. "Get to the point, human," its translator echoed with a deep, gravelly tone. Sang's presentation showed a child, not just any child, but a genetic marvel that defied comprehension. The holographic image revealed intricate DNA strands that seemed to pulse and shift, displaying capabilities no known species had ever witnessed. "This child," Sang explained, "possesses genetic adaptations that could revolutionize our understanding of biological potential. Imagine healing capabilities that can regenerate entire organ systems within minutes. Cognitive flexibility that can process complex mathematical equations while simultaneously managing multiple dimensional perspectives. Robotic assistants whirred around the chamber, recording every moment. Advanced AI systems analyze the data in real time, creating millions of potential scenarios and predictions. The Galactic Council representatives began whispering, some in audible languages, others through complex electromagnetic communication patterns. Tension filled the air like electrical static. A small drone-like creature from the Zentari system projected its thoughts directly into the chamber. "Impossible," it communicated. "No single species could produce such genetic complexity." Sang. Kim smiled. He knew what was coming would shock everyone. "We have identified 3 potential human fathers," he continued, "each with extraordinary backgrounds that might explain this child's unique genetic markers. But here's the fascinating part. This isn't just about one child. This represents humanity's potential for adaptation and evolution." Holographic screens displayed images of 3 men, Jae Park, Hyun Choi, and Woo Lee. Their backgrounds scrolled like living resumes: quantum research, special forces training, deep space exploration. The Croxian diplomat's scales shifted color, a sign of extreme interest in its species. Other alien representatives leaned closer, their various sensory organs focused entirely on Sang's presentation. Spacecraft models representing different diplomatic missions hung in the background, their sleek designs reflecting the chamber's sophisticated lighting. Some were organic constructs, others pure technological marvels that seemed to defy traditional engineering concepts. "This child," Sang emphasized, "represents more than a genetic anomaly. It represents humanity's potential to adapt, to evolve, to transform." Alien robots began processing the information, their quantum computers working at speeds incomprehensible to biological entities. Complex algorithms calculated potential scenarios, genetic projections, and evolutionary pathways. The Mei chamber fell silent. Even the background hum of advanced technology seemed to pause, waiting for the next revelation. Sang Kim knew this moment would change everything. Humanity was about to be seen differently, not as a young, naive species, but as a potential game-changer in the cosmic ecosystem. "Questions?" he asked, knowing the diplomatic storm was just beginning. The Croxian diplomat's translator crackled. "Explain. Now." And so the greatest genetic mystery in galactic history was about to unfold. End of part 1. Would you like me to proceed with the next part of the story? The interview rooms were sterile, white spaces with advanced holographic technology that could reconstruct memories and analyze physiological responses in real time. Each of the three potential fathers sat in separate chambers, unaware of the other's presence. Jay Park, a quantum research scientist, looked calm but slightly nervous. His fingers unconsciously tapped complex mathematical sequences on the minimalist table. Scars from laboratory accidents marked his hands, evidence of years of dangerous genetic research. Across the station, Hyun Choi adjusted his posture. Years of Special Forces training made him sit perfectly straight, eyes constantly scanning the room. His muscular frame told stories of countless missions, but something in his eyes suggested deeper secrets. Wu Li, the Deep Space Exploration Commander, seemed the most relaxed. A holographic display of star charts surrounded him, memories of distant planetary missions dancing in the background. His skin bore subtle genetic modifications from years of space travel. Alien investigators moved with precision. Robotic assistants scanned genetic markers, cross-referencing historical records. A Zentari analysis drone hovered near Jay Park, its multiple sensory appendages collecting microscopic genetic data. "Tell me about your most significant scientific breakthrough," a smooth, artificial voice requested of Jay Park. He smiled, remembering. "A breakthrough that nearly revolutionized genetic engineering. We discovered a method to repair DNA damage at the quantum level. Imagine healing chronic diseases in moments, regenerating entire cellular structures." The robotic investigators exchanged complex data signals. Each response was analyzed millisecond by millisecond. Hyun Choi's interview took a different path. Military records showed classified enhancement programs, experimental procedures that pushed human physical limitations. His body was a living testament to human adaptability. "Special forces aren't just about combat," he explained. "We're about pushing human potential beyond known boundaries." Wu Li's experiences were perhaps the most extraordinary. Atupape. Exploration meant encountering environments no human had ever survived. Radiation levels that would kill ordinary humans, extreme temperature variations, gravitational challenges. He had experienced them all. A holographic reconstruction showed one of his most dangerous missions. A spacecraft damaged near a neutron. Star survival conditions impossible by standard human measurements. Yet he survived. The alien investigators found something fascinating. Each candidate represented a different approach to human potential. Jay with scientific innovation, Hyun with physical transformation, Wu with environmental adaptation. Robotic assistants collected blood samples, conducted quantum genetic scans, and analyzed psychological profiles. Advanced AI systems worked continuously, creating millions of genetic scenario predictions. "We're looking for something beyond traditional understanding," a Croxian investigator communicated through its complex translation device. "Not just biological potential, but evolutionary capability." Spacecraft models representing different exploration missions decorated the investigation chambers. Silent witnesses to humanity's incredible journey across the galaxy. Jay Park's research suggested genetic memories could be transferred, preserved across generations. Hyun Choi's body showed remarkable healing capabilities from classified military programs. Wu Li's genetic structure demonstrated unprecedented environmental adaptability. The child's genetic profile matched elements from all three, a cosmic puzzle waiting to be solved. Alien representatives watched the interviews, their various sensory organs processing information at incredible speeds. Robots calculated probabilities. Quantum computers predicted potential genetic outcomes. "Humanity continues to surprise us," a Zentari researcher commented. "Just when we think we understand their limitations, they demonstrate something extraordinary." The sea. Investigation continued, each moment revealing more about the mysterious child and the potential fathers. The galaxy watched, waiting to understand this unprecedented genetic mystery. Tension built with each passing moment. Who was the father? What did this child represent? The answer was closer than anyone realized. End of part 2. Would you like me to continue with the next part of the story? The genetic investigation laboratory pulsed with an ethereal blue light. Advanced quantum scanning devices surrounded a single genetic sample, the mysterious child's DNA. Researchers from 12 different alien civilizations worked simultaneously, their technologies merging in ways never before attempted. Sang Kim watched through a reinforced observation window, his breath slightly fogging the transparent material. The sample wasn't just genetic material, it was a living puzzle that defied every known scientific understanding. Robotic assistants moved with surgical precision. Holographic displays flickered, showing DNA strands that seemed to dance and reshape themselves. Each strand told a story of impossible adaptation, of genetic potential beyond comprehension. A Croxian genetic researcher named Zol pressed a complex scanning device against the sample. Her multiple sensory tendrils vibrated with excitement. "This is unprecedented," she communicated through her translation device. "The genetic structure, it's not just adaptive, it's alive in a way we've never seen before." Microscopic nanobots began their investigation, traveling through the genetic material like explorers in an unknown landscape. They mapped impossible connections, discovered pathways that seemed to rewrite themselves in real time. J. Park's research notes became crucial. His previous work on quantum genetic manipulation suddenly made sense. The child's DNA showed markers of deliberate genetic engineering, but with a complexity that went far beyond human current capabilities. Hyun Choi's military enhancement records provided another piece of the puzzle. Classified documents revealed experimental programs that pushed human genetic boundaries. Each page suggested something extraordinary. Humans were capable of more than anyone realized. Wu Li's space exploration logs became critical evidence. His body had undergone subtle genetic modifications to survive extreme space environments. The child's DNA showed similar adaptive markers, but amplified 1,000 times over. "Look at this," a Zentari researcher exclaimed, pointing to a holographic representation of the genetic sequence. "These markers, they're not just adaptive, they're predictive. The DNA is constantly recalculating potential environmental challenges." Spacecraft models representing different exploration missions surrounded the laboratory, silent witnesses to humanity's incredible journey of discovery. A complex robotic system began reconstructing potential genetic scenarios, millions of possibilities, played out in holographic displays, each showing different potential evolutionary paths for the child. The investigation wasn't just about finding the father. It was about understanding a potentially revolutionary genetic breakthrough. Alien investigators worked in perfect synchronization. Quantum computers calculated probabilities. Robotic assistants collected microscopic data. The entire laboratory became a living, breathing investigation machine. "The human potential," Sang Kim muttered, "is far greater than we ever imagined." Zol's tendrils pulsed with excitement. "This child represents more than a genetic anomaly. It's a bridge between what we understand and what's possible." The DNA sample continued its impossible dance. Genetic markers shifted, recalibrated, adapted. It was almost as if the genetic material was alive, thinking, planning. Suddenly, a breakthrough. The holographic display exploded with color. Genetic. Connections became clear, but not in any way anyone expected. The child wasn't just the product of one father. It was something entirely new. Robotic assistants began rapid-fire communication. Alien researchers looked at each other in shock. The implications were beyond comprehension. "We're looking at something more than a child," one researcher whispered. "We're looking at the future." The investigation had only just begun, and the truth was more incredible than anyone could imagine. End of part 3. Would you like me to continue with the next part of the story? The confrontation room hummed with tension. 3 men sat around a circular table, J. Park, Hyun Choi, and Wu Li, their eyes locked in a complex dance of curiosity and suspicion. Sang Kim entered carrying a holographic data projection that seemed to breathe with its own energy. Alien investigators lined the walls, their various sensory organs focused intently on the human drama unfolding. "Gentlemen," Sang began, What I'm about to share will change everything you understand about yourselves. A massive holographic display activated, showing intricate genetic sequences that danced and shifted like living art. The three men leaned forward, their professional composure momentarily broken by pure scientific curiosity. J. Park's scientific mind raced first. His fingers unconsciously began tracing genetic patterns in the air. "These markers," he muttered. "They're impossible, a combination that shouldn't exist." Hyun Choi, years of military training keeping him perfectly still, studied the projection with laser-focused intensity. Scars from classified missions traced lines across his hands, each one a story of survival against impossible odds. Wu Li remained calm, but his eyes betrayed a deep excitement. Years of space exploration had taught him that the universe was far stranger than any human could imagine. Robotic assistants moved silently around the room, collecting microscopic data. Alien analysis drones hovered, their multiple sensory appendages, capturing every micro-expression, every subtle reaction. "Each of you has something unique," Sang explained. "Jay, your quantum genetic research. Hyun, your military enhancement records. Wu, your space exploration modifications." The holographic display began reconstructing memories, moments from each. Man's past flickered to life. Jay in his quantum laboratory, pushing the boundaries of genetic understanding. Hyun in extreme combat situations, his body performing beyond human limitations. Wu navigating spacecraft through impossible cosmic conditions. A Croxian investigator stepped forward, its translation device crackling with excitement. "The child's genetic structure is not just a combination, it's a deliberate fusion of your most extraordinary capabilities." Spacecraft models hung in the background, silent witnesses to humanity's incredible journey. Each represented a mission that pushed human potential to its absolute limits. Hyun Choi broke the silence. "Are you telling me this child is some kind of genetic experiment?" J. Park's scientific mind was already racing ahead. "Not an experiment," he corrected. "An evolution." Wu Li remained quiet, but his eyes told a different story. He understood something the others hadn't yet realized. This was about more than just genetics. This was about human potential. The holographic display shifted, showing the child's incredible capabilities. Healing abilities that could regenerate entire organ systems in moments. Cognitive flexibility that could process complex mathematical equations while simultaneously managing multiple dimensional perspectives. "We're looking at the next stage of human development," Sang Kim explained. Alien investigators exchanged complex communication signals. Robotic assistants calculated millions of potential scenarios. The entire room vibrated with the potential of this discovery. Hyun Choi's military-trained body tensed. What does this mean for humanity? J. Park's scientific mind saw the bigger picture. "Everything," he whispered. Wu Li finally spoke, his voice calm and steady. "We're not just looking at a child. We're looking at humanity's potential to adapt, to survive, to transform." The room fell silent. The holographic display continued its impossible dance of genetic potential. Outside the confrontation chamber, spacecraft moved silently through the infinite darkness of space. Alien civilizations watched and waited. The three potential fathers looked at each other, no longer competitors, but participants in something far greater than themselves. A new chapter of human potential was about to begin. End of Part 4. The Galactic. Council chamber erupted with a symphony of alien languages and electromagnetic communication. At the center stood a small child, Dae Sung, whose very existence challenged everything known about biological potential. Holographic displays surrounded the child, revealing genetic sequences that defied comprehension. Robotic assistants moved carefully, their advanced sensors constantly analyzing every microscopic detail of this extraordinary being. J. Park, Hyun Choi, and Wu Li stood together, no longer competing, but united by an inexplicable connection. Their collective achievements had somehow merged into this singular genetic marvel. The Croxian diplomatic representative, a massive creature with crystalline skin, leaned forward. Explain, its translation device demanded, vibrating with intensity. Sangi. Kim stepped forward, his hands steady, his voice clear. What you're witnessing is more than a child. This is humanity's potential made manifest. Dae-sung looked around the chamber with eyes that seemed to understand far more than any child should. Quantum sensors detected incredible neural activity. The child was processing information at speeds that made supercomputers look primitive. Alien researchers from 12 different civilizations watched in stunned silence. Robotic analysis drones circled the child, their multiple sensory appendages collecting data at unprecedented rates. Watch, Sang Kim instructed. The child touched a complex holographic interface. Instantly, the device recalibrated, its programming, adapting to capabilities far beyond its original design. Mathematical equations solved themselves, genetic sequences reconstructed with impossible precision. Wu Li's space exploration experience became visible in the child's adaptability. The ability to understand complex environmental challenges was embedded in every genetic marker. Hyun Choi's military enhancement history revealed itself in the child's physical potential, healing capabilities that could regenerate damaged tissue in moments, reflexes that anticipated challenges before they emerged. Jae Park's quantum research manifested in the child's cognitive flexibility, neural pathways that could simultaneously process multiple dimensional perspectives, solving complex problems with intuitive brilliance. Spacecraft models in the background seemed to vibrate with potential, silent witnesses to humanity's incredible journey of discovery. This is not just evolution, a Zentari researcher communicated. This is a quantum leap in biological potential. Dae-sung began to communicate, not through words but through a complex series of neural projections that translated directly into the minds of those present. Memories, potential scenarios, evolutionary pathways, all shared in a single moment of connection. The Galactic Council representatives experienced something unprecedented. A human child was teaching them about potential they had never imagined. Alien. Robotic systems worked overtime, analyzing every microscopic detail. Quantum computers calculated millions of potential scenarios, each more incredible than the last. Humanity is not what you thought, Sang Kim explained. We are not a young, limited species. We are potential itself. The child's genetic structure continued its impossible dance. DNA strands that could adapt, predict, and transform. A living representation of human capability. Dae-sung touched a holographic star map. Instantly, the display shifted, revealing potential interstellar navigation routes that made current technology look primitive. Alien researchers gasped collectively. This changes everything, a Croxian researcher communicated. The confrontation was no longer about finding a father. It was about understanding humanity's extraordinary potential. Jae Park, Hyun Choi, and Wu Li looked at each other, united by something beyond biology. They had become more than individual humans. They were contributors to something far greater. Outside the chamber, spacecraft moved silently through the infinite darkness of space. Alien civilizations watched and waited. Dae-sung smiled, a smile that contained entire universes of potential. Humanity's greatest discovery was not about reaching the stars. It was about understanding the incredible potential within. End of part 5. Would you like me to provide any additional details or clarify anything about the story? Would you like me to continue with the final part of the story?